today is calling, is dialing somebody who doesn't know you. Is that still an effective way to reach the marketplace for any size company?
Well, so you've got different levels of let's call it practitioners in this space, in marketing, technology, sales enablement, right? So for a beginner, at the beginner level, you might have just got the research done up front, right? And so you've saved yourself a bunch of time because now you've got the whole list. And so now for the next 2 to 3 months, you don't have to do a lot of one-off research. You can just work off of your list. Wow, you're really smart. You're really efficient. Like, check the beginner box. You can send your emails more quickly. You can make your calls more quickly. Then you go bump up to the intermediate level. And at that level, you might have a rep who's created some sequences where not only do they send their first email, but if the person doesn't respond, there's an automatic follow-up. So they're making another touch, right? And so but they're doing it automatically. They send an email and they schedule out the next, and there's a lot of tools that can enable that to happen. They're kind of an intermediate player. So not only did they save the upfront time, they're having a little bit more of a comprehensive outreach. Now, if you want to go all the way up to the most advanced level, they're doing all these steps. They're having maybe a more sophisticated sequence that's following up. And then before they ever pick up the call, they would go in and they would pull a report of all those prospects I reached out to in the last week, in the last 2 weeks. Who is the most engaged with my emails? Who clicked on the most links? Who opened them the most times? Now, if I'm the sales rep picking up the phone, not only did I save myself the research and some of that outreach and follow-up, now my phone calls are not guesswork. They're pointed. I'm calling on prospects that not only have awareness of who I am and what I do, they're engaged, so they're showing a level of interest. So now my phone calls are going to be a lot more pointed at the right prospects, the ones who are somewhere already in the funnel, than going back to the top of the funnel.
And those prospects have, through their behavior, have effectively raised their hand.
And that's where that's the best practices, right? There's a lot of best practices, but the best practices are what make sure that, the email that you sent was authentic as it can be, and that those calls that you were making, that you're being smart and not robo dialing, and not, knowing your audience and knowing what your process is and how you're taking it through. And when you can bring it all together, that's where you really get the value.